The human mind has always fascinated me. It's been an area of study for me since 1998, when I read my first book on psychology. Since that time, I've been on a quest to understand one of the greatest mysteries in human life: why we do what we do, and why some people change while others don't. As my first mentor once told me,
Everyone has the power to change, to be better. The first step to change is to make a conscious choice.
but in recent years, a growing movement in neurobiology has attempted to argue that making a conscious choice is an illusion and that free will simply doesn't exist. At the turning from the 19th into the 20th century, the consensus was that humans had control over this thing we call consciousness, and that they simply needed to get better at learning how to use it. But over the decades that have passed since that era, a new consensus has taken root in the scientific community and has ended up placing the majority of society in a mental chokehold. In his book Determined, neurobiologist Robert Sapolsky argues that human behavior is the result of a seamless arc of influences without a crevice for free will to lodge in. Sapolsky points out that everything from grit to backbone and willpower are produced by a part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex, which is the outcome of our uncontrollable biology interacting with an uncontrollable environment. He points to things like the adverse childhood experiences, or ACE scores, which measure trauma, to show that with each increase in adversity, people develop a sluggish prefrontal cortex and a hyperreactive amygdala, the part of the brain that governs fear. Furthermore, he shows that the prefrontal cortex is easily depleted by things completely out of your control, such as stress, pain, hunger, and fatigue. Sapolsky concludes that it's impossible to successfully will yourself to have more willpower. If we look solely at this biological determinism, it seems like we are hopelessly trapped by our pasts and our biology. In fact, Sapolsky himself openly questions why consciousness, a sense of awareness, is even necessary if the brain simply operates on biological determinism. In one of his podcasts, he openly acknowledges that he doesn't understand consciousness and doesn't like to talk about it. But if free will is nothing more than a delusion, why is consciousness so persistent? Here is the answer. Your consciousness is not a delusion, it is a positive feedback mechanism. Just the same as stress, pain, hunger, or fatigue. It serves a purpose other than to delude us into thinking we have any degree of control over our lives. Think of it this way. Physical pain is your body's way of telling you something is wrong and needs to be corrected. If you cut your finger, the pain tells you to stop the bleeding and stitch the wound. Hunger tells you to seek food. Stress tells you when you need to tap the brakes. Fatigue tells you when you need rest. All these mechanisms are considered negative, yet are positive because they are giving us important feedback about something we need to do. Similarly, your consciousness acts as a guide, telling you when something is off within your mind so it can be corrected. The psychological and emotional pain you experience isn't meant to enslave you. It's meant to guide you to correct the underlying causes responsible for that pain. This is the function, the usefulness of consciousness. Taking this further, the ultimate purpose of consciousness is personal growth and transformation. But Sapolsky is right about one thing. You cannot simply will yourself to have more willpower. Willpower is fleeting. Continuous conscious development is achieved by consistently applying two things that are 100% within your control: attention and effort. To pay attention means to focus, and what you focus on expands or gets bigger. When we pay attention to specific thoughts, our brain lights up with electrical and chemical activity, growing stronger merely as a result of what we think. The same neurobiological mechanisms that develop the muscle memory of hitting a baseball are the ones responsible for developing your beliefs and behaviors. What you see in the world is a result of what you choose to see and give attention to. We exert tremendous physical effort every day just going to work and handling responsibilities, but how much mental effort do we put into becoming a better person? When you live life on autopilot, giving no conscious attention or effort to who you are becoming, you are at the whim of external influences and volatile emotional states. It's only then that you become the deterministic machine Sapolsky describes. To break free of this deterministic paradigm, you must turn your awareness inward, a process called introspection. You must ask yourself tough questions. Who am I? Who do I want to become? What do I need to do to become this person? This requires stepping out of your comfort zone, stripping away your delusions, and breaking through the denial that keeps you stagnant and stuck. This introspective deep work is why consciousness can sometimes feel like a burden. Often being conscious of our flaws, imperfections, and past traumas feels like a curse. When we are aware of these things, we experience suffering. We feel like something is wrong with us, like we're broken and need to be fixed. But you must fix that very thought first. Nothing is inherently wrong with you just because you have flaws or have experienced failures or trauma. That is simply a part of being human. And here is the truth about this conundrum we call consciousness. Consciousness is either a gift or a curse, depending on how you choose to use it. Will you use it as a curse by focusing exclusively and excessively on the bad? Or will you use it as a gift, giving attention and effort towards improving yourself? One of the greatest insights you can gain is this: we cannot allow our imperfections, flaws, weaknesses, failures, mistakes, heartbreaks, or traumas to define who we believe we are. Being aware doesn't cause suffering. Not understanding how to use that awareness does. Thoughts themselves are not the cause of your suffering either. Refusing to deal with the limiting beliefs underlying those thoughts is the root cause. It is not your past trauma, your biology, or your lack of motivation or discipline holding you back. It is the beliefs you have inadvertently created around them. By shifting your awareness away from your past hurts and placing it wholly onto recreating yourself from the inside out, you will find that consciousness is indeed a gift. It is a gift to be opened and used toward the deliberate improvement of your life.